Alright, welcome back. So, as you can see here, I've got a few 1x3s that I'm going to use to make the legs. If you look over here, I've gotten the top done already, so I've gone ahead and painted it and put the coats of sealant on there. So it's going to be good and ready to go in a, I don't know, now actually. It's actually dried long enough, so it's ready to go. Now, what I'm going to do to make my table legs is I'm actually going to take two boards of this size. These are about 6 foot long, each one of these. So since I need my legs to be roughly 2 feet, I can probably get 3 legs out of 2 of these boards the way I'm doing this. But I'm just going to have extra laying around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one board down like so, and then I'm going to take another and I'm going to lay it like that. That's going to give me a nice angled L shape, which is going to form the leg. Now I'm going to clamp these boards together, and I'm going to use I'm going to use my wood glue and a couple clamps, and I'm going to clamp the boards together basically. I'm also going to do a couple face nails on just to keep them in place. Now if you don't have a good level floor to do this on, to have a surface to join these two, don't worry, you can put the glue on, face nail them first. That will actually give you a nice solid connection as well. And I'm just going to put a nice bead of glue all the way down this first board. Check if you can see it. Now don't worry if you use too much. Using too much really isn't a big deal. Using too much is better than using too little. Alright, so the tricky part comes in where you have to put the boards on and get them lined up right. Alright, now once I've got them lined up where I want them, I'm just going to go ahead and put a nail in at either end. And that nail is going to help me keep them steady. Alright. So I did the sides, and then I go ahead and do the center, because just like we did with the rest of the table, you're going to end up with a bit of a bow on a lot of these boards when you buy them. So nothing really to worry about. Just go ahead and deal with that by moving it around and nailing it into place and clamping it properly. Now you may notice that I have a good bit of glue seeping out, and that's actually exactly what I want. You want that glue to seep out because that gives you an indication that you have good contact. And what I do for that is I just take a wet paper towel or rag and just run across it. Alright, so I got this nailed up, boards are in place. Now all I gotta do is clamp them together just to make sure that they have good, firm, solid contact. Alright, welcome back. So I've already gone ahead and glued and clamped the other piece for the other two legs I'm going to have. And the only thing I got to do now is I have to cut these down to size. So I'm going to use my miter saw for that, and I've got that standing by right here. But first we got to measure or mark out after measuring each of the legs. So I'm going to start off on one end here. Doesn't really matter where I start, but pick a spot. And I'm just going to mark it 2 feet. I'm actually going to give myself an extra ½ inch, just because it's better to have a little bit longer than shorter. If I want to shorten them up later, I can. But I'd rather just put that extra ½ inch now instead of screwing it up later. my two pieces right here. And they're pretty good, but they've got a little bit of a difference between them. So the way I work that out is basically I take the two, put them back to back like so. I'll flip them this way. And I'm going to line up one edge so that they're both perfectly even where they're at. And then I'm going to bring my saw down at the very edge, at the closest edge basically, where I can get the two. Alright, just like that, I've got two legs that are basically exactly the same length. And I'm going to do the exact same thing with the other two pieces. So I noticed I did a lot of different passes on that, making sure everything was straight. Now it's very important because you do not want to have even a little bit of variance, even a hair of difference in length when you're trying to square something up can make something over a long distance just completely off. So you want to make sure that these are close as possible to being the same length as you can get. Best way to do that really is to do them all at one time, but since I don't have the ability to do that with this without doing some rather weird stuff that my saw probably wouldn't like, I'm just going to do it one at a time, but they are all the same length now, so that's really the important thing. I'm just stacking them up like this because it's fun at the moment. But yeah, these are all pretty much exactly the exact same length. Very little difference in them. So with that out of the way, next thing to do is make our skirts for the desk. So that's going to be basically the skirts are the parts that are going to run in between the legs, hold the legs together, and provide the side platforms for the top of the desk to sit on. So that's going to be an important part, and also a fairly easy part. So we'll get started with that. Alright, so I'm going to save myself a little bit of time by cutting the two of these at the same time, because they're both going to be 4 foot long. And helps to cut things on the side, on the long side, so that your blade, what's known as the kerf of the blade, which is the width of the blade, so that's as far onto the side of the mark that you made. That way you don't lose the width of your saw blade, which can be, usually about 1/16 of an inch or so. So one of these is bowed pretty good. So that piece is the one I'm going to use for the 2 foot sections. So that's one of the cool things about being flexible, is that you can figure out what you're going to do. So I'm going to lay these next to each other and figure out that this is the one that seems to be bowed. So if I put another one right next to it, see how it's a lot straighter up against it, whereas this one just does not want to go because it's got a good, it's bowed in this direction. So this will be okay for my 2 foot pieces, but the 4 foot pieces I don't want to use that. So I'm going to leave this out of the way for now. And you can't always do much about that. Sometimes you buy them and they look fine, and then you get them home and they don't look as good as you thought they looked in the store. That's life. front side and the back side skirts. And these will go do exactly what I need them to do. And then I need to do the exact same thing for the sides, except the sides are going to be 2 foot long. So that means I need to put 2 parts on for 2 2-foot side skirts. So I'm going to pick the pretty side. This side seems fine. And these are my 2-foot pieces that will be on the bottom. Now, if these are a little bit off, it's not that much to worry about, to be honest. If they're a little bit off, it's fine, because that'll just add a little bit of definition to the bottom of your table. But you don't necessarily want it to look like the exact same 2 pieces. I might even actually put some routing on here at some point, but for now I'm not going to do that. Anyway, we are done with, actually we're not done with the saw yet, because there's going to be 2 more pieces we'll need to cut, but we'll figure those out here in a minute. Now I've got these cut, I've got them kind of arranged in the way that I'm going to have them. As you can see, I've got a leg here, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of mocked it up already. I've got these 2 stringers, rails, whatever you want to call them, right about here, and they're going to be up against the legs on both sides. And then this final piece is going to go with the other 2 legs right on top like that, and then you'll have a solid base. And that won't be the end of it, but that's a good start to it. Now, the thing that I hadn't taken into account, which I really should have, is the fact that because I'm laying these on top of these other pieces, it's going to extend that depth. So the desk in this direction is going to be a little bit longer. It's going to be about the width of these boards here too long, which these are 1x2s, which means that in reality they're closer to, oh, I can do this one. They're closer to 3/4 inches, 3/4 by 1 3/4. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to take essentially 1.5 inches off each of these 2-foot pieces, and that will give me the exact size that I need. And now this step isn't really necessary. I'm going to do it just for a little bit of extra strengthening. I've got my 2 legs here. I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to put 2 more face nails, 2 more brads into the corners where the 2 boards meet right here. And that's just to give it a little bit more stability while it dries and later on as well. And the nice thing about brad nails is you really can't see them that much. Once you paint it, you're not even going to know that they're there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put the last 2 legs on, and about to run a battery, so I'll see you again once those are on, and then we'll start on the last little part of this, which will be corner braces for each corner, and then one piece to come across just as a support for the center of the desk as well. So as you can see here, I've gone ahead and finished all 4 legs. All 4 skirts are attached to them, and we're good to go in that respect. The next thing that we have to do is we're going to add in some corner braces as well as some braces across here. Now, I know some people are going to maybe say something about the fact that I'm only really using glue and a few brad nails on these corner legs, but the fact is all these skirts are really meant to do is to hold these together, and they will do that just fine because these won't be supporting a whole lot of weight. Most of the weight is going to be supported by the legs themselves. So that being done, I've gone ahead and taken a few other pieces. So I had this 2x2 laying around my shop here, and so I've gone ahead and put 2 pocket holes on each side and on each end. So this is going to be going in between, in the middle, and that's going to make a nice firm connection between the 2 rails here. Alright, so just like everything else, I'm going to put some glue on both sides. Alright, so just like everything else, I'm going to put some glue on both sides of my support beam here. And the pocket hole screws are actually going to be the thing that really hold this in place. So I'm going to use 4 1-inch pocket hole screws on each side. Lastly, I've taken a couple pieces like this and I just put 45-degree cuts on either side inward so that these will fit right in the corners, and just 1 pocket hole screw for each one is all I really need. So again, a little bit of wood glue, and then I'm going to find the corner on each of these, and I'm just going to lean it up against that, and this will provide a good bit more stability to all of the corners. So now we're done with the legs. Just got to clean up the excess glue like always. And once that's done and the glue is set, after about 30 minutes, I'll be able to come back and we'll be able to do the final bit of finish work. And that'll be pretty much it. From there, it'll just be lifting the desk on top of this. Now, there are a couple different options I have as far as how I'm going to attach it to the top of the desk. I'm not planning on putting the desk actually, together with screws, top and bottom, I'm going to leave this just a separate piece, and I'll just put the two together. The top of the desk is probably heavy enough. In most cases, I probably won't want to put a screw into it. So then again, I may put maybe 6 pocket holes, one here, 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 there, and there, just in each little area there, and then join them that way, because then I can take it off if I needed to. But as it is, this is a real nice, sturdy structure that I put together. It can definitely support my weight, because I'm putting it all on there, and it's doing just fine. So thanks for watching, and when I come back and show you the next piece, this will be finished, and we'll just be doing the final reveal of how the whole desk looks as a unit. So thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.